Thank you very much for joining again. Today I'm going to have a wee talk about Flow. I'm going to talk a wee bit about Power BI, just to kind of a brief overview, show some integration with different apps that you can use in Teams, and I'm going to go ahead and have a look at Microsoft Power Automate, it's called now. And what that allows you to do is like automate business processes. So if you've got like things that you do every day, day to day, and you think there must be a better way of doing it, Flow is probably your answer. So I'm going to I've made one in a kind of proper Blue Peter fashion, just in case this doesn't work, but I'm going to try and do it just live. So we go to flow.microsoft.com, log in with your Office 365 account. You can create flows that are just relevant to you, or you can create flows for your organization. So I'm going to create one, an automated from blank, and we'll call it post message to Teams when asset added. So I'm going to pick, Flow works on a kind of trigger and action basis. So you've got to pick a trigger that will kick off the flow. So I'm going to say that when an item is created in SharePoint, I want Flow to do something. So I'll go ahead and pick my SharePoint site, Teams webinar, and our asset tracker that we worked on the other day. So like I said, we've got this kind of trigger and action mechanism. So this is our trigger here. When an item's created in this list on this SharePoint site, I want something to happen. So we can just go ahead and pick a new step. I'll pick Teams, and we will post a message as the Flow bot to a channel. So I'll pick our team that we created on Tuesday, and I'll pick our, we've been working on the finance channel, so we'll go ahead there. And what this now allows us to do is we can get data from the previous step. So we can say, okay, I want to use the person who created the item in the list. I want to use their name, and I want to say they created a new asset. And I'll go ahead and save that. I'll go ahead and I'll go to my list, and I'll add a new asset. What shall we add? Another HP printer. Other hardware. And we'll save that. So what should happen now is that triggers the flow, and the flow says, right, I need to go and do something. And if we go here, we should see it running. If we can see our flow ran, it was successful. And if we go back to Teams now, we should see we've got a wee notification here that something's happened in finance. When it goes bold like that, that means that someone's posted a message or something's happened. So if we go to our posts, we can see, there we go, there's a message. John it didn't put my wee second bit on, but we can go back and change that. So we get a message from Flow to say that John Condron created a new item and assets. And like the possibilities are literally endless. Like you can make flows as simple or as complex as you want them to be. So for example, we could have, let's say someone adds a new item in their asset list, but we don't want that to be live until a senior person approves it. So you can kick off approval processes and stuff like that. So like you could say, I want my line manager to approve this. They automatically get an email with the approval process embedded in the email, so they can just click approve, and then that can kick off another step. And it really is incredibly powerful what you can do with Flow these days. And when you think about like that took us 3 minutes to create a flow. We're integrating three separate technologies here. We're using SharePoint, we're using Flow, or Power Automate, and we're integrating Teams. And we've done all that in just a couple of minutes, whereas 5 years ago that would have taken like a week's development to bring all that together. Well, if I was you, I would go and play around with Flow. If you've got an Office 365 account, just make wee flows for yourself. There's pre-configured ones as well, so you can say there's one that says every time I get an email, if it's got an attachment, copy that attachment to my OneDrive, and then you can build on that as well, and it's incredible. I wanted to talk a wee bit about Power BI. Like, I'm not a proper Power BI guy. We've got a wonderful Power BI expert, Aaron. So if you want some Power BI advice, then he's your man. Speak to Lance or Alasdair and get him involved. Power BI, again, is super powerful. But all I'm going to do is, I created a wee Power BI report here that looks at our SharePoint list. And it reports on what type of hardware or what type of assets that we've got. So we've got all the hardware, we've got a laptop, we've got PCs. And you can see in this report, we can see we've got one PC, one laptop, and 5 other hardware. But so again, Power BI is super powerful. You can bring in data from any data source that allows you to connect. So if you've got data in maybe your finance system or your CRM system, or even a SharePoint list or an Excel file, and you want to bring all that, or a SQL Server database somewhere, and you want to bring all that together and build a really useful report for management or for finance or whoever, you can bring all that together and display it in a really nice, effective way. And again, like everything that we've been talking about, we can also embed it in Teams. So let's say we've got our development team, our development channel, and we want to have our Power BI. We just add a tab like we did yesterday for forms or for planner. It's the same principle. We just go in here and add Power BI. Pick the report that you want to display. And now we've got our Power BI report within Teams. And like, there's so many connectors for Teams that it's impossible to discuss or to go through them all. Like, almost everyone who's anyone now has got a connector to Teams. I have no idea what most of these are. But if there's a piece of software that you use within your organization, there's most likely going to be a connector to Teams. So, for example, we've got other apps here that you can add. I'm going to talk about integrating. You can integrate Zoom. So if you use Zoom throughout your organization and you find that more useful than using Teams meetings, you can connect Zoom to your to Teams and use that as you would. It gives you a wee Zoom bot as well. I've not really looked at it much, but it'll give you like these wee prompts to say, join. I want to join this meeting. If somebody sent you a Zoom meeting request and you've got the ID, you can just say join and type the ID, and that will help you join. So like I said, it's super powerful and super incredible that Microsoft have done this and allowed you to like not just they've not just said, oh well, just use Microsoft stuff, just use what we're doing. They're saying they're welcoming everybody in and saying they understand that companies aren't just tied to Microsoft applications, so they want to bring everyone in together. And personally, I think it's amazing. So yeah, I just wanted to give that wee example of how you can integrate other applications and stuff like that. So the other thing I wanted to show you was Power Apps. So Power Apps are really powerful in the sense that they're really quick wins. You know, like if you've got a need for an app on your phone or on a tablet or even embedded in Teams, which I'm going to show you, it's not like a 60-day engagement of like a full mobile app development. It's looking at a process and saying, how can we make that more efficient and making an app for it. So I've made this wee happiness app, which the data is stored in SharePoint. Your data sources can be anything, like it can be the common data service, it can be anything at all, and even an Excel file. which I wouldn't recommend, but it's possible. So I'm going to show you my wee happiness app. And all it is, was today a good day? And I click, of course, today's a wonderful day. I'm talking to you, wonderful people. So I'm going to click yes. And we can close that. And what that does is that goes away to SharePoint and posts a wee message here saying, yep, today was a good day. And then at the end of the month, I can go in and look at my happiness chart. And if there's more green than red, then it's been a good month. And also takes a wee, geolocation snapshot, and lets you see where I was when I decided whether I was happy or sad. So if you click here, that'll take you to Google Maps, and I'll close that because that's where I live. But yeah, all these things are possible, and I think that Power Apps and the Power Platform is going to be huge in the coming year. Microsoft has spent, last year they spent $60 million on marketing the Power Platform, and this year they're spending $500 million marketing the Power Platform. So it's not going anywhere, and so I think now's a good time to be involved in that world. I think if we just have a wee recap, we talked about Flow. Flow, super powerful. You can do pretty much whatever you want. And I should caveat that. Whatever you have permission to do. If you can do it manually, if you can go to a SharePoint site, if you can add something to a site, if you can manually do that task, there's definitely a way to automate it. We spoke a wee bit about Power BI. Like, as I said, our man Aaron is the Power BI guy, and he can really work wonders with your data. So if you want to get involved with talking about that, how you can report better on your data and then make better decisions, I guess that's the aim of it. But again, embed it in Teams. Everybody can see what's going on. Like, another example I've seen of Power BI reports is for like help desk type situations, how many requests have come in, how many are with SLA, how, that kind of thing. And it's just an immediate visual thing. We need to do something, or everything's running hunky-dory. Yep, and then I showed you the wee apps that you can add. Like I said, there's loads. Like if you use Trello, integrate all of these apps in Teams. Have a look, have a think about apps that you have in your organisation, and see if there's a connector. If there's not one, I imagine there'll be one coming. And then we had a wee look at our Power App. As I said, like Power App can run on your phone, tablet, whether it's Android or Apple, or in general it just works. I think it's incredible. Like it uses that Microsoft's low code, no code solutions terminology, and it is possible to go and make a Power App with no previous experience of being a developer or anything like that. But I definitely think it helps to understand development. But it is possible to go and connect to some data source, make your app, and you're away. Like there was a guy, one of the Microsoft MVPs, he was working at Heathrow Airport as a baggage handler. He just thought, like, day-to-day tasks, there must be a better way of doing this. Got involved with Office 365. Now he's the head of IT at Heathrow Airport or something like that, just because he got involved with Power Apps. Showed the company, like, we can do this with the license that we've already paid for. You're not paying for anything else. We can do this. We can make this app. And now he's the head of IT. He's a Microsoft MVP, and all from Power Apps and the Power Platform. It's a great story, but true. So yeah, I hope that was all helpful. If anybody's got any questions, then feel free to fire them across.